welcome to the Katz Meow's first podcast.
PodKatz.
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 Yeah.
You have to repeat that 10 times so you get it
PodKatz,
right.
spelled
PodKatz.
K-A-T-Z.
Right.
So I'm Todd.
I'm Chris.
And I'm
And
Eddie
we-
Goldberg.
Yep, and we are the Katz team, and we are proud to introduce our first guest
For our PodKatz.
for our podcast. Yes, Eddie Goldberg.
Yay, Eddie.
It's very exciting to be at the inaugural Katz PodKatz.
Yes,
I really appreciate it.
we hope this is the first of many.
Yeah.
But Eddie and the Katzes go back a long time,
A long time.
probably close to almost 30 years.
Yep.
I guess.
Absolutely.
So,
25, 30 years.
So refresh my memory on kind of where we were. 'Cause I remember some of the restaurants, but
Right.
you probably have a better memory than I do.
Yeah. Well, I met you. I believe I met you at Manhattan Steakhouse. The old Manhattan Steakhouse, because I remember you had your plaque and you had the Katz's souffle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so let's stop for that for a second. So Manhattan Steakhouse was one of these New York style steakhouses that New Jersey really never had, and it was local, but it was a special.
And actually, for those who may not know where it was, it's actually where the new
Outback,
Steakhouse just opened up on the corner of Route
Yep.
35 and West
Yeah.
Park Avenue and Ocean.
and Outback is not Manhattan Steakhouse.
Oh my God, it doesn't even come
Like,
close.
it's good, but it's not. It's not
Manhattan
Yeah.
Steakhouse.
But what was something special about Manhattan Steakhouse that I always remembered and loved was if you were a regular customer there, they would put a little plaque on the wall with your name on it. And we always had the same table, which actually was very interesting. It was in the back corner where all the pictures on the wall were from the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then even at 9/11, after even the night of 9/11, we and our friends, after making sure everybody in our family was okay, went there to kind of just reminisce, and we sat in our corner table with our plaque,
Yeah.
and it was a nice, fond memory for
Yes.
things. And so,
So-
we
For a
appreciate
bad
it.
time, it was a fond memory. I
Yeah,
remember
it
that.
Yeah.
was.
Oh,
And-
yes.
And we kind of always think of that too. We remember that.
Yeah, so
where
that-
we were
Yep.
and where we wound up, which
Right.
was at Manhattan Steakhouse that night.
yeah, and that's going back almost probably well,
25 years?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
There you
So
go.
how did you get to Manhattan Steakhouse?
Well, it's a long journey. I won't bore you with everything. But I've been doing this since I was 11 years old. I was a busser waiter at a diner in Lakewood, nonetheless. And I've done everything in the restaurant business, from running nightclubs to serving and running Italian restaurants, steakhouses, fish houses. I made a move and I opened an Italian restaurant in Calabash, North Carolina,
Wow.
which is the fried seafood capital of the world. And they weren't very happy we had an Italian restaurant. And at that time, we were trying to get more business drummed up. So I decided to put on our sign, don't eat fried fish, mangia Italiano. So it's like, so
How'd that go over?
yeah, I wasn't. I was kicked out of the Elks for a day, but it went over. It went over. It did go over, and I had some people at the door. I didn't realize that there was mafia down in the south either, but they
so
had
funny.
pitchforks and trucks. But so I was there for a while, and then I moved to West Virginia in the late '90s, and I ran 5 restaurants and a ski resort. And it's the only 5-star restaurant in West Virginia, as I know of, back in 1999.
Wow.
It's called the Red Fox.
I didn't even know there
And-
were
Yeah,
skiing in West Virginia.
Yeah,
It's
there's,
up in the mountains.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody from Raleigh, North Carolina, Washington, D.C. I met a bunch of senators and governors and all those kind of people because they don't want to go all the way up to Vermont, And we
Yeah.
were 5,500 feet up. It was just pretty much close to Vermont. And so I was there for a couple of years, had some fun. The first year I was like, oh, I love this place. I'm going to stay here forever because it's no phones. Back then there was no phones. You didn't have cell phones. You had to call on a line outside or whatever. And then the first year was great. It was like, and everybody was telling me, it's like, this isn't a typical winter. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Me being from Jersey, I know more than everybody that lives in West Virginia for their whole lives. So the second year, it was going through, and it snowed for 41 straight days in a row. And you can't call out for work. And I had a condo about a mile away.
Oh my God.
So I had to jump off the back of the deck and walk 1.5 miles in the blizzard to get to work.
So, did you ever tell your kids that story that you had to walk uphill in the snow
Both
Both
ways.
ways.
both ways
I
to
did.
get to
Uphill both
work?
ways.
And they just turned away. We don't, when we were younger, we always got that and we were laughing. Now the kids
Right,
these
you
days
lived
are
it.
like, I lived
That's
it.
so funny.
So I had a few memories from over there. I had a black bear banging on my front door,
Wow.
and I was like, who's banging on my door? I go to open it, it was a bear. I was like, ooh, that's pretty interesting. And then somebody across the pathway from me shot it, and I was like,
Oh my God.
I
Welcome
ducked
to
it.
West Virginia.
Exactly. And then he got a ticket. I was like, for what? Are you saving me? So that's.
We're not going to ask you if you cooked the bear. That's
No,
Right.
definitely not. Definitely not. There was some.
Actually, can you eat bear meat?
I haven't seen anywhere that you
Oh.
can eat bear
Yeah.
meat.
Interesting.
I thought about it, but
The 5-star restaurant, we were doing everything else you can think of,
Mhm.
but I didn't have bear meat there, and I didn't see it on the menu. And I had a chef over there that ended up, he was a Michelin chef. He actually opened a diner in Atlanta, and he made it an upscale diner,
Not
like
the
with
Buckhead
the Buckhead
Diner?
Diner.
Buckhead Diner.
Oh, was the Buckhead
So
Diner?
I went to school in Atlanta. The Buckhead Diner was one of the top restaurants.
Yeah,
That's
and
so-
Chef Tony was in
Okay.
there, and then he
What a
went to.
small world.
Oh.
So he went there, and we were thinking to do something different. We were heading to Charleston, and we went down there because we just like wanted to go. In the winters, West Virginia was fantastic. In the summers, everybody I knew there would go to the Outer Banks. So they would work in Duck or Corolla. So it's wintertime here, summertime there. So it was a really fun time. But then we looked at Charleston, and we wanted to open up one of those restaurants where there's only 10 tables.
Mm.
You don't get a menu. You get a 7-course meal. And in South Carolina, you don't need a liquor license. You just have to get a little thing there. So we were going to do that, but he ended up going to Buckhead, and I ended up moving back to Jersey. But that was something we were looking into, and I thought that would be a great concept for Charleston. Back then, it's not as built up as it was now. That would have been a forefront of culinary excitement down there, but it just never came to fruition. And I moved back up to go.
So
work
what
at-
year was that?
That
you moved back to
was
Jersey?
2002. I got an offer to be the executive chef at Gallagher's Steakhouse. They were opening one in the airport, and so I was training in New York for a little while, and then I opened up the one in Newark Airport, Terminal C. I didn't think it was a good idea to have a steakhouse then, and then there's no knives allowed in, so we could, as a
God.
restaurant, you couldn't even have the regular knives. You had the
Plastic.
tough plastic
Yeah,
knives.
it's got to be tough to cut a steak.
Yeah, especially an $80 porterhouse, and it's like we had all the aged meats and we had everything outside, so people could see as they're passing by what's going on. But after 9/11, we have to walk through security all the time. We'd have to. It was like a 20-minute process just to get in there. We had to take a bus from a parking lot all the way off the airport to come all the way in, to go all the way down. So it was a little long
That's
and challenging. And I was working for a company that only ran fast food restaurants in airports. They had 150 of those. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this is their first full service restaurant, so I wanted to make it great and explain. And so, but they franchised with the Gallagher's name, and I think they had 3 or 4.
We've actually been to one. I wonder if that's the same Gallagher's that we go
Up in
to
North-
down in Boca. Gallagher's.
Oh.
Gallagher's Steakhouse.
Yeah, but there's one up in North Jersey that we went to at that Shiva one time.
Oh,
But
all right.
they're
Did they
still around.
have
We
did they have
digress.
black bow ties and white shirts?
Ooh, I don't
don't-
remember.
If they didn't,
Actually, I
then
can go
they'd just
back.
be
I can go
called-
back in the Katz Meow food blog and look and see.
That's
I'll
perfect.
send that
which,
to you.
Which
We
is
did
one
one,
of one of the best things in the world. Yeah,
Right.
you could do. It's like
I'll-
and you know what, with the Katz Meow, I just think it's fantastic because you only talk positive. And
Yes.
years ago, people could ruin restaurants.
Oh, 100%.
And
so
that was
yeah. Well, just to digress a little bit, yeah. In the Katz Meow, we definitely focus only on the positive, or we try and stay very neutral,
Right.
Because we would never want to hurt a business. We know how hard you guys work, so
Right,
we
and-
would never do
And
that.
that's what's one of the things I love to watch. I love
Yeah.
to watch normal people going out to dinner, and just like you're like family to me.
Just enjoy it.
And just enjoy it. And if there's something you don't like, you don't mention it. You
Right,
know, I mean,
exactly. Because
back in-
everybody's got an off night,
right,
so
absolutely. And I
um,
want to say, I'm just going to say her first name is Andrea, and she was a food critic for the Asbury Park Press back in the 80s and 90s. She killed a lot of restaurants.
wow.
She killed a lot of
She's
restaurants.
still around or no?
I don't think so. And
Okay.
I not that I've seen. Nobody reads anymore. They do blogs. They
yeah.
do influencing things,
Right.
and
Easy, quick little
it's
bites.
it's
for,
so many different varieties from when I started till now.
Mhm.
And but Gallagher's lasted about a year, because the company didn't really know how to run a full service restaurant. And I was driving from Toms River to Newark every day, and I was just like going there, getting everything taken care of. And they wanted to make sure the food cost was in line, the liquor cost was in line. So they had one of the pourers for the liquor, so you get in your really small drink for double the price. And I was cutting the meats and things like that. But we were in Newark, so a lot of people weren't very they didn't really want to work. You know, they just everybody had church on Sunday, and they want to work 2 hours when you're scheduled for 8, and they just walk out, and it's sort of like now, but
Yeah.
but
Well, that's
not as
one of the
bad.
questions I was going to ask you. What are the challenges you're facing now? I mean, the biggest challenges, which you kind of hear about, is like you're mentioning, labor, cost of goods.
Yeah, it's very challenging. Luckily, since I came back to New Jersey, I've built a lot of partnerships with different companies. And Danny Meyer wrote a book called Setting the Table, and it's about his restaurant experience. This is before he had a few other things, but his goal is to be number one is customer or is service oriented. Is the employees are number one to him. The community is number two. I think the customers are number three. You know, and then you have your purveyors, and then you have all these things that make up the restaurant. If you don't take care of your employees, they're not going to take care of you. Back then, when he wrote that, that was so true. After COVID, it's a little bit different. You know, I mean, people realize that they don't want $2.13 an hour and then tips because they're not making enough money. I've been blessed because I've always had people follow me wherever I go. I don't know how or why it happens, but that's the one thing I'm very
So you're
blessed
talking
at.
about your
My
staff
employees, yep.
and your customers.
And my
Customers,
customers,
yeah.
yeah. Like I always get customers that I don't like. A lot of the times I just pick up and leave. I sell my portion of the business, and I'll get back to the New Jersey businesses. But I'll just leave, and they come in and like, we found you. Now we're not going to lose you again. She's like, don't leave within the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, I
And
think the Katzes are probably your biggest stalkers now.
yes, absolutely. Wherever I am, you find that.
We
yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
find you.
Exactly. But sometimes, and probably, I'm not a very good promoter of myself. You know, it's like I just want to make sure people are happy at the time they're there. When I do a lot of caterings and things like that, everybody wants a card, a menu. I'm like, I forgot them. You know,
All right, so wait, so let's get back. So we left Gallagher's now in
Yep.
Newark.
And then I went now to Manhattan Steakhouse.
Okay, so from
And
Gallagher's,
from
from
Gallagher's
Newark
to Manhattan.
Airport.
Jamie, who was one of the owners, him and I went back.
And that's Jamie Hoyens, for
Jamie
those
Hoyens.
of you who
Yep.
are
Yes.
keeping
And
track.
we know Jamie going back, I think even
To the
before
Swan,
you.
was it with the Royal Swan, the Swan Royale,
It was
something
in Wall
Royale,
Township.
Wall
It was-
Township.
Yeah, it was
It was a French
Cafe
restaurant.
Royale?
Cafe
Cafe
Royale.
Royale.
It was
Okay.
Cafe Royale in
and-
Wall Township.
Correct.
Jamie
and Jamie
Hoyes.
Hoyes was there, and I worked with him.
And
at
that was the
Ferrari's.
first, that was one of the first fine dining
Yeah.
restaurants that Todd and I went to that was in a strip center. Like,
Really?
very unassuming. Yeah, in Wall Township, New Jersey. And it was sort of like a hidden gem.
And that's where.
So maybe that's where we first connected.
I did
do
not
you
at Cafe
think?
Royale. I don't think so at Cafe Royale. Because I was somewhere else when that opened.
Oh,
That
okay.
was-
So that was just
because-
Jamie
yeah,
before
'cause-
he came to Manhattan.
Correct.
Steakhouse.
It was
But it
Okay.
is a
Jamie-
very incestuous, community of people in the business. 'cause
Of course.
we've Chris Brandel and
Yep.
even
Tony-
David Burke, I
Chef
think,
Tony
going back,
Frallo.
and Chef Tony, and I mean, there's
Yep.
all these names that keep circulating, and it seemed like everyone has worked with
With
each
each
other
other.
at
which
one
is
time
so
or another.
nice.
So it
Oh,
is kind of
that's
special.
true. And like Jamie and I worked together, and that's where the strip mall restaurants started to kick in. And when he left Cafe Royale, he went to a restaurant called Ferrari's, which was in Freehold. And I knew Jamie. I went in one day for an interview there to go work there, and that's where the hardcore servers were beating each other up for tables, and they wanted to make sure that, oh, they're my friends. I want them at this table. They're stealing tables from each other. It's BYOB, and they're trying to make as much money as possible. And I applied over at Ferrari's, and the day I was supposed to go on an interview, something happened that I didn't even go. So I don't know why Jamie called me back, and he goes, Eddie, you didn't come in. What happened? And I'm like, oh, I had something I don't remember. And he goes, well, do you want to still work? And I'm like, sure. And he goes, we want to come in this day? I showed up, and the rest was history with Jamie and I since 1994.
Wow.
And then at Cafe Royale, Sam, that used to own the Ocean Marina and the place in Long Branch, what was his name of his restaurant? It was in the strip mall there by Home Depot. It was just closed recently.
Tip of my tongue. We never made it there.
Oh.
Shoot. All right. We'll come back to
We'll
that.
come back. We'll
My
circle
memory's
back
worse.
to that. I'll have to
Circle
text
back.
Sam.
I'm
But
trying to remember what
but-
I had for breakfast, but I can't.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where you said the incestuous part comes in, because Jamie and I worked together at Ferrari's, and then he left, and they made me the manager at Ferrari's. So I had to tame all of these. One server was a state trooper, another guy was a financial planner, and they did just for side
That's an
hustle on
eclectic
Fridays and
group,
Saturdays. And we had a 55-year-old Italian mom that always got stuck in the same station, and she always got upset. And then we had the new person always in the worst station, and it always rotates like that. Like that's how territorial they were back then. And they cared. I mean, they poured your water, they poured your wine, and the owner was a little older, and it was funny because he would walk around and he'd pick up your bottle of wine and look at it, and he'd open it for you. He goes, oh, this is a good wine. I mean, he'd literally say for 5 minutes how great this wine is, hoping to get a glass of wine from somebody. He'd walk around the restaurant like swirling his wine. So one time, a couple of the guys at the restaurant, somebody bought Opus One in back then. That was a huge bottle. That was a huge bottle of wine, and Alan would always have his $3 wine that he always drank with his dinner because he wasn't going to buy any nicer wine.
That would be me.
So
Todd would be drinking the Opus one, and I would be the cheap wine.
She's a box wine kind.
I'm a box wine kind of girl.
Yeah.
Yo, I know
Damn
what you
proud of
guys
it.
bring in with all your friends. I'm like always in awe. I'm like, oh, this is great. And,
Oh yeah, it's like a bar. It's like a portable bar.
It's
yeah.
great. I have to go and find glasses so I can bring it for you for each course.
Yeah, yeah.
So we took the $3 bottle of wine, and we had an empty Opus bottle. So we poured it in, and then the server Chris was like, "Hey Alan, I got some Opus for you." And he snagged it away from him, and he's like, "Give me that. That's not for anybody but me." He put it up there when he's ready for his dinner. He looks at it. He had his regular wine glasses, but he had this giant stemmed wine glass, and he was walking around the whole dining room swirl. This is Opus. This is Opus. And he's drinking it slowly, and
Best glass
bottle
of wine he ever
best gla-
had.
and that's what
And
he
he
said. He
probably
goes,
couldn't tell the difference.
and he had no idea because he would have
That's
5 or 6 glasses with somebody else, and
Yeah.
it's funny because it brought up something that happened last night. There's a bottle called Critic that I've been reading about. That's from it's a Napa Cab, and it's a newer wine. But I'm like, oh, I read about it, and some people walked in with that, and I was opening the wine for them at our restaurant in Point Pleasant, and I poured it for them, and I kept talking about it, and after I brought their appetizers out, they're like, oh, you want some? I'm like, no, I'm not Alan Newman at 72 years old, wanting your wine, but
Yeah, sure.
I felt like that when it all came back to me. Like,
Did you wind up getting a glass?
they gave me some of the. I like try to walk away because I after that I felt horrible. I felt like what Alan would used to do. So I was like, brought out their food. Oh, you have some before it's gone. I'm like, no, I'll be back. And then they ended up leaving me a little bit in the
That's
bottle.
nice.
So it was very nice.
That is
But
nice.
but
So I want to go back to your, where you were. How did you get to? Sadly, Manhattan Steakhouse closed.
correct.
After how many years?
It was 10.
10
It was
years.
10 years.
10
they
good
closed.
years.
10 good years. They had it was a great spot.
Yeah.
I mean, the location wasn't great. I mean, but everybody knew where it was, and everybody wanted to be there.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
everybody wanted their name on the wall.
Exactly.
We
Right.
would get people to say, I went there, went to this restaurant. I saw your name on the wall. How do I get my name on the wall?
Right.
It's,
right.
it's been like
you have to go there.
$50,000.
You have to go there a lot.
I said we're part owners.
We never.
I
were.
mean, we have our own souffle named after us.
Right.
Well, that was true.
That was
very
it.
nice.
But that Manhattan Steakhouse had a very good run. I actually got there in 2003 when I left Gallagher's. I went there to talk to Jamie, and since I knew him from Ferraris and yada yada with that, I was looking for my next adventure. It wasn't really Manhattan Steakhouse. And at the time, I went from North Carolina, South Carolina to West Virginia. I'm like, I'm going to go west. So I ended up talking to the operator of all Don Ho's restaurants in Hawaii. So I was just like, that would be fun. I'm like, and so I was working with Jamie in January, February, and very nice manager that was there at the time, Amit. He was there, and the bartender James. They were great people. The whole staff was great over there, and that's what again that made that restaurant. Because bad service, no matter how good the food is never going to be the same, and no matter how great the service is and the food's mediocre, you're not going to go back.
You just had a great combination.
We really, and you know what? Like I said, I've been blessed with great people and great food all around wherever I went. And so I did get the job with Don Ho. And
did we ever have any Don Ho's in New Jersey?
No.
Okay.
No, it was all on the islands. They were all on the island, different, and it was different names.
So you actually moved to Hawaii?
I didn't because they didn't want me till March. In January and February is the rainy season, so I broke up with my third ex-fiancée at the time. And
that's a whole different
that's a whole different story.
Podcast.
I'll come back to a different story. Exactly. That's for another day.
Stay tuned.
We should have brought.
Goldberg
We should have
part
brought
two.
some wine or put some vodka in the.
Exactly.
Okay.
That'd be better. But I ended up meeting my wife at Manhattan Steakhouse, and before I was moving to Hawaii. So when I met her, it was a blizzard. The night before, her kids went to Ocean Township and to the middle school, and one of her friends, Lois from Lois Moving.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
Stephen Lowy and
Lowy
Keith. Big shout out.
Big shot, yeah,
Love
absolutely.
Number one moving company.
Yep,
In
they
New
are the
Jersey.
number one moving
Yeah,
company.
They
love
are,
them.
So my wife's good friend at the time was Ellen Lowy,
Mm-hmm.
who is no longer married to Stephen. But her son Ben was wrestling that the next day, and because the blizzard was coming, they had to set up the mat. So Debbie went, and they went for dinner. And at that time, we had a smoking section, and there was no other tables except for one in the smoking section all the way at the end. And that night, I wasn't cooking. I was walking around, making sure everybody was happy. And it was like probably the worst night that I ever had there because this was undercooked, and this server missed something, and this happened. And I was like, what else could go wrong? And
it turned out to be the best
and
night
it was
ever.
the best. It was the best night, but it like every restaurant I've ever owned, there's nothing that ever goes wrong, knock on wood. Maybe once every 6 months, 8 months, one person will complain or one person will be unhappy, and I rectify it the way it should be. So when I was at Manhattan Steakhouse, they had a black area separating the smoking and non-smoking area. So I wiped my hand on the black thing, and there was an ashtray on the top of the black ledge, and it fell in my wife's salad. Now, they didn't smoke, but they left it up there because they didn't want it on the table. So I yelled at the server at the time, like, what are you doing? And then the server's like, no. And she did it. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then after apologizing to Neil, I started talking to her a little bit, and then her lamb chops came out raw. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, this is...
Meanwhile, did you think she was cute, though, when you first
You know
saw
what?
her?
At that moment...
The right answer is yes, by the way.
No,
Because
yeah,
if
I mean,
Debbie's listening to
well,
this.
it's funny. No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but the thing was, I just broke up with my ex-fiance probably 2 months ago.
Mhm.
And I had, in the smoking section, 3 of my very dear friends who knew my situation. 3 couples that knew my situation. And they ended up going to my wedding, which was at Manhattan Steakhouse. But they're like, how you doing without having your fiance? I'm like, I'm all right. I'm like, I'll meet somebody somewhere. It doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, I met her and Ellen, so I talked to both of them for a little while. And I just said, here's my card. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'm not picking up women in restaurants. It doesn't work that way if you own a restaurant most of the time.
Mhm.
But so I gave them my card, and then my wife, Debbie, she paid for the meal. And then the next day was the blizzard. And we had a bachelor party that day. Otherwise, we would have closed. And I'm coming from Tom's River again, but I lived in a ski resort in West Virginia. So I'm like, I can drive in this. There's no problem.
You can
So-
walk if you have to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I
From
mean,
Tom's River.
I used to drive on the mountains like Babe Ruth in his movie where he was sliding all over the place. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I got up there, and I was the only one there. I was going to cook and serve and do everything because nobody else could come in.
Wow.
And the phone rang, and I was like, that's funny. I pick up the phone, and it was Debbie. And she wanted to thank me for a great dinner. I made them cherries jubilee, or it's cherries flambe or strawberry flambe, something like that. And I gave that to them on the house for the lamb being raw on the ashtray, every other problem. So she called, and she just wanted to say thank you. And later on, I found out that she was calling to leave a message to say thank you, and she wanted me to call her back.
Oh.
But she also wanted to pay for dinner, and thinking that I would look up her credit card, then go on her and then look her up. And I'm like, you can't do that, hon. And at the time,
There was
I'm
no
like,
Facebook back then.
there was no Facebook
Yeah.
back then. I had no idea. And so we started talking for a couple hours. And Jamie was away in Colombia, so I said, "Come in for dinner one night, and I'll sit with you, and I'll make us dinner the right way." So we love wine, so we love Jordan a lot. So we had a bottle of Jordan champagne, a bottle of Jordan white, a bottle of Jordan red. Luckily,
The
I
whole
only live
flight,
5
the
minutes
whole
away.
flight.
The whole flight. With every course, we had a different
vertical flight. Yeah.
Exactly. And we had every course we had a different wine. If I had to get up to go cook, I put the busboys to sit with her. I had the busboy run over to 7-Eleven that was right across the street and get her a flower, a rose, and
That's so
so it was
cute.
nice.
That's
and
very cute.
That's great.
so that was how we met, and then the wedding was there as well. And
That's
then I
great.
left there in 2008 before it closed, because I knew their plan was at 2010 or 2009 they were going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up working in a place called Park Avenue Seafood at the time in Freehold, which is now 618.
Right. So I remember going there,
Yep.
right? Yeah, we did go there. You had a short stint there, no?
Yeah, sure. I was there for a year,
Right.
and I worked with one of our servers I had brought him as a manager with me, and then I brought a bar manager together, and I was there about a year. And then another opportunity came up, and I ended up leaving, and then Matt Borowski took over. And now he's running 618. He runs
Right.
Mezcal.
Actually,
We
we
were just at
just went to
Mezcal.
Mezcal
Oh, really?
on
I saw that too.
Friday.
You were over
That was
there.
our
Yeah.
third time there.
Oh, really?
In
In
3
less
weeks.
than
Oh,
in
that's
less
great.
than a month. It was
But we had to
actually
take our kids there.
it's pretty
and
special.
It's a special
It
place.
looks
Yeah.
like it's a special
It
place.
is.
And 618, everything they do over
oh,
there.
so
618 is great, too.
beautiful.
So
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah,
inside.
yeah.
He did a wonderful job
But
with
it's the
that.
same thing. It's the service. You know, as soon as you walk in, I was first time here. They actually gave us a tour,
Yeah,
and
presentation.
they made you really feel special.
Yes, and that's the old generation. That's Matt. That's Anthony, who was, or I'm sorry, Vinny, who was the bar manager with me at the time. We all come together to make people feel special and make sure that people want to come back. There's a million restaurants now, and that's one of the things that you asked me about. One of the problems, there's a million restaurants.
Yeah.
Back in, I remember when Mike and Nellie's was in Ocean Township
Oh
when the
God,
steakhouse
we
was
miss
there.
them. Yeah.
And that's the thing. But I mean, again, nowadays, you're not going to. They're not patient enough. You know, our generation is patient enough. The kids' generation and a little bit young, a little bit older, they're not going to do 4 U-turns to go to a restaurant. They'll just go to the next one down the
Right.
street. You know, and
Right.
that's
we have a lot of choices.
you have so many choices, and you have to change up, and you have to
Right.
adapt, and
You're
that's
constantly reinventing yourself,
constantly,
which you've
and that's
been great at doing.
Yeah.
and
right?
that's the hard part. It's like
Yeah.
people that just stay stagnant, they're going to get the same people they get, and prices are going to go up, and they're not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And if you can't reinvent yourself, you got to look at the trends. You got to go forward, and you have to do different kinds of
Right.
things. So
So after Freehold, all right, let's move on to Asbury Park.
Asbury Park,
Belmonte's.
Belmonte's.
Yes.
It was funny. Bobby Belmont and I met when we were in North Carolina. He owned a place Italian place, the next town over, which was like 5-6 miles. So I'd go over to see him. He'd come over to see me, yada, yada. We'd have a drink together. And he goes, "One day we're going to be together, kid." And I'm like, "All right, if you ever get anything." So when I was at Park Avenue Seafood, he came over to see me. He goes, "I got it." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I got the place." He goes, it was another name before Belmonte's, and they only lasted like a year. So he got everything together. He's like, when do you want to come? I said, how about February? I'm going to celebrate my, I think it was my 10th year anniversary in
Mm.
Mexico, because we got married in Mexico. And then I came back and I started working at Belmonte's. And there I made the menu, and then I also served, because again, I wanted that touch, special touch. Like, as you know, anytime you go to my restaurants, you want something special, you call me a day in advance.
Never say no.
Never say no.
Never say
You
no.
can't.
Not
you
even in advance. I know when we go there, you're whipping out
whipping
stuff
out
from-
something.
Right.
I'm like, it's not on the menu. Like,
If I have it, because I know
Yeah.
what you like. If I have it, absolutely. And when you ask for the beef Wellington, I'm like, yeah, no problem, I'll make it.
yeah.
And so Belmonte's was great. I was there for a couple of years. Unfortunately, Bobby got sick, and he was in the hospital for about a year. So I was there by myself for a year, and running everything was going real well. And when he came back, I decided, I'm like, I had enough of this running around in restaurants, so I had a little sabbatical. But Belmonte's is the home of the half price pasta. It
Yeah,
was
we
BYOB. It
loved
was
that.
it was a great great experience. They always had Frank Sinatra playing. And so no matter what, you knew all the words. But I ended up working in the kitchen and working out front with the open kitchen. I'd go to the table and they're like, "Oh, I want this, I want that." I'm like, "I'll make some." I go in the back. The two guys are
Mhm.
back there. I make it, bring it out for them. And again, they feel special. I made them something different. Oh, they come back all the time. And I saw people nowadays, I made something for them in 2005. They're like, remember that steak that you made for our party at our house? I'm like,
You probably do.
you know
Yeah.
what? I'm like, there's only a few things that I make. So like, I did remember it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I think it was the flank steak, the marinated flank steak. And then same thing, another friend of mine, Rob Leitner. Another
I
throw
love
out for
Rob
Leitner.
Leitner.
Leitner
Yeah,
Dental.
shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Leitner Dental.
Exactly. So he always had, when I did his parties, he's like, you gotta get the steak, you gotta get. I'm like, no problem, Rob, anything for you.
Yeah,
And
he's a good guy.
so Belmonte's was good, but I needed a little break, so I took a sabbatical for like 3 months. And Mr. C and Karen are very good friends of mine.
We were actually there when he closed.
The very last.
Oh, the very
Was
last
he?
day?
Were we
night.
there the
Yeah.
last night?
I think
Yeah.
that last week we were there.
Yeah. And Karen's playing a lot of golf now, so
Is
she's
she?
very
Yes.
happy.
I was wondering what she was. I see her drive around every once in a while. I'm like, what are you doing
She's
up
hard
here?
to miss.
I know. I'm like,
Short
what is she
white
doing
hair.
up here?
She's so cute.
Short white hair in a Mercedes convertible, and I'm like,
red Mercedes
yeah, always red
convertible.
Mercedes convertible. And I'm like, I see her around. I'm like, oh, what is she doing nowadays
Yeah.
besides playing golf? But I mean,
She's playing a
she
lot of
loves her golf.
Yeah.
So I just went over there and I just talked to them. I said, I'm on a little sabbatical. You think for 1 or 2 days a week? And they're like, yeah, we can get you something. I'm like, all right, good. I don't have to think. I don't want to figure out numbers. I don't have to deal with employees. And it recharges me into, again, moving on to my next
next
adventure
venture.
and next change. And so I work with them. And it was funny when I was there, I would serve Chick's table with all his friends because he goes, you're the one that gives us the best service out of everybody. Because he had people there. Again, it's getting to 2011, 2012. It was slowly fading on the service. And I even noticed that when we had Park Avenue Seafood, that the service was always, all our reviews were always, and not even online. Back then we'd have little cards and you'd rate everything and this and that. And people are
That
always
sounds
like,
so ancient, doesn't
It is.
Back
I mean-
then, we had cards that we had to write on for reviews.
yeah, right. Write cards, and then you write your. It wasn't even your email yet. It was your phone
Your
number,
phone
your
number.
address.
Yeah.
And
Did you ever call anybody back from those cards?
you know what? We used to give out coupons,
Oh,
so
really?
we'd mail them out to you. So
Oh.
that was the time, like, okay, you're a special customer or whatever, and that's basically what you do now. But you do it on the internet, you do it
Right,
whatever else.
right.
So I knew a lot of those people, and a lot of those people from those cards. I learned that at Ferrari's. I bought it to Belmonte's, Park Avenue, and then the whole times changed.
Mhm.
So I was working at Mr. C's for a little while, and I worked the first week there, and a couple of my friends knew I was there. He was a doctor in town, and I was like, okay, and he came in and I wasn't working, and so it's like, so Chick comes up to me, goes, Eddie, where were you last night? Somebody came looking for you. They had a table of 7, and you weren't here, so they walked out. And I'm like,
No way.
really? I'm like, and I was like, what? And I'm like, all right. I'm like, now you got to work every day. I'm like, well, I'm not working every day, but I'll work more for you.
I can tell
It's
you it wasn't
fine.
us.
It wasn't a sabbatical, but but it was a doctor friend of mine who always follows me, and actually funny, he just found my new place, Family Tavola, about 3 weeks ago, and he's been there 3 weeks in a row.
Perfect.
And he retired, so it was nice. And
That's great.
so that I left there, and I went on to what's now Nettie's House of Spaghetti. It was called the old Luigi's in Tinton Falls. So I had the restaurant there. I didn't have the bar; I just had the restaurant, which was nice. The people that owned the bar, Barbara and Rudy Mendito,
Yeah.
another Ocean
Another
Township
Ocean
classics.
Township family.
Yeah,
And yeah.
and Larry and Andrea and
Right.
Darren. So it's like all comes together
and their grandchildren are friendly with our grandchildren. Reese and Kenzie are, very friendly. So
Yeah,
it's so funny how
Our
it's
children,
all.
not grandchildren.
No, well, Rudy and
Their
Rudy and Barbara's
their
grandchildren.
grandchildren and
Our
our
children.
children.
Same years,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's-
yeah. Did I say we have grandchildren?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not e-
Stop.
not
Put a
even close.
pause
Not
on
even
that.
close. Not
No way.
Fortunately for me, I have 2 grandchildren.
That's
so,
awesome.
and
Good
it's
for you.
wonderful.
That
The
is so
kids are
nice.
great. It keeps you young.
One day, not yet. for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. You're not ready yet.
Right.
You're not ready yet. So that's where I took over, and
So after Luigi's,
I was at. It was called Eddie's Place at
Eddie-
Luigi's.
right? So
I was
how
there
many-
for 5 years.
Oh,
I
you
was
were.
there for 5
yeah,
years.
we went
We
there a
went.
couple of times.
It wasn't the best atmosphere. Like when I was deciding if I was going to go in there. Again, it's one of those things where if the numbers work, what I can do there will work. I'll do it. I mean, I get offered restaurants. As Todd knows, he always brings some things to me, and I'm like, and I look at things, and I'm just like, okay, that's not going to. And one of the big turnoffs to Luigi's was they used to have a door with a screen on it that you couldn't look into, and from the way the outside of the place looked, I was afraid it was like a biker bar, and I was going to open the door. I always used to open the door like for somebody to knock me over the head with
Well,
a
can
beer
I tell
bottle.
you, if you didn't know what was inside waiting for you,
Yep.
and you just drove by, it kind of
It's
had
scary.
that
It has
vibe.
that look.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
scary. So after I met everybody that sat at the bar, they were all regular people. They're all
Yeah.
like such great, and they were there for 20 years. They would just come in and have their beers and be great. And a lot of them worked for me because that's where I built up my catering business. 2013, I started, well, even at Belmonte's, I started working with a couple of pharmaceutical reps and things like that to bring them lunch, to bring them breakfast. And that was my heyday of catering to pharmaceutical reps at Luigi's. I would do between 15 and 20 lunches from, I'm going to say, Atlantic City up to Patterson. I would have 18 drivers. They'd all come in. We'd
Wow.
have different people coming in at different times. I'd have like 5 breakfasts, and if the first breakfast person didn't show up, then I was backed up, and I was nervous every day that something, I was like overtaking what I should. Again, never saying no, but like 90%.
on
And
a
then
lot.
then I get a text at 10 o'clock. I forgot a breakfast, and I'm like, where is it? And if it was in Long Branch, I'd give somebody 2 or 3. But it was just one of those things where
I think how many parties did he cater for us?
No, several.
yeah, it was at least
Right.
5.
Graduation.
I
least
think you
5.
did
Every
my.
graduation.
I did your
wait,
40.
You did
your
my 40th.
Yeah.
Yep.
You did a
All the
couple of the girls'
graduations.
graduations.
And then we did something else too. We did a grand opening.
Oh,
or no,
yeah,
a
the
hou-
party
the-
in Belmar.
the
Oh, yeah.
Belmar, you
Yeah,
had to
I
have
forgot
it.
about that.
That was
House
that
kinda
was
thing.
that was
oh, yeah.
challenging. That was
oh,
challenging.
by the way, hold on. We do real estate too.
Yes, exactly. The Katz team is the only team to go to.
Yes.
And
That's our
that was
part-time.
I think that was probably my third most challenging catering I've ever done, since you had no water,
Nope.
you had
Yeah.
no cold refrigerator, nothing. So it was a
It was
challenge, but
great.
It was awesome.
You
It
made-
was
you
just
made
like
it
We
I was
like
trying
to
figure out.
challenge you.
A lot of people do. So that was one of the times I was like, oh wow, that's probably one of the hardest parties I did, but I loved it. I
Yeah,
mean, I loved
yeah, it
it.
was
The people
great.
I bought to, I loved, and it was great. So that's where my catering business really started. I would be cooking for 300-400 people before 10 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
and I'd have all the kids working. My son worked there for a little while. My daughter worked as a server there. Stu and Sue Shavis,
Yep.
who I've done a bunch of parties for. Jenny worked for me over there.
Oh, she did?
She
That's
worked
so
there for a couple of
nice.
years, and the Rodriguez's, they came
Gabby
over.
and
Yeah.
the girls.
What's
Forgot what the older sister's name is.
what is her name? Have to give her a break. But whatever.
We'll
We're
take
getting
it. We'll
old, so
take
that's
it.
what
Yeah,
happens.
I know. Me too. I forget a lot of
Just so,
things.
I
It's a
mean-
whole different type of business.
Yeah,
The whole-
and
Yeah.
in my
like a
business,
separate- yeah.
it's like, you know what? You know, people from when their kids are born to
Yeah.
when they're married, you know, and that's
Yeah,
what
that's a
I've
cool
been
part of the
seeing. That
business,
it's
I
a whole
think.
part of the business.
Right.
So then I left Luigi's. I got an offer with a liquor license. Back again with Mr. C and Karen, and so I opened 118, which was their old stomping grounds on Norwood Avenue.
Oh my God, I
and
forgot
that.
that.
forgot
I
about
forgot about
We're
that.
gonna need a second hour here.
and that's
totally
only
forgot
since
about
what I've only
118.
told you since '94 or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I had 118, and I decided to try something different and do a bistro. So it was all different kinds of food. So it wasn't Italian, it wasn't seafood. It was a little bit of everything. And again, all my followers were like, "Oh, where's the Rigatoni Caruso named after the Carusos,
Yeah.
and where's this?
I
Where's
didn't
that?"
realize that was named after John and Scott Caruso.
No, Tom and Anthony Caruso.
Oh, okay. I don't know that.
Yeah, Tom was a fire chief in Ocean Township,
Oh,
and Anthony
cool.
and Tony was.
Wait a minute. That's a dish. We only got a dessert named after us.
Well, when I decided at Eddie's
should get a
place, I
pizza.
wanted to break because the place wasn't really friendly. If you, like you said, if you looked, you never knew what you were getting.
Right.
So people that were with me at Belmonte's that I would remember a lot or whatever, they picked a dish that wasn't on the menu, I named it after them. So just so happens the people like the Rigatoni Caruso, I named after them. I didn't see them once in 5 years. And I said, Tony and Tom, they never showed. The Krankels, Lisa and David Krankel,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
very good friends of mine. They didn't. They came in once for their dish.
You named something after them too?
Yeah.
What did they
Wow.
get?
They had a pasta with hot cherry peppers, ricotta.
Mm.
But the next,
sounds
and then
good.
I
I love
learned
a
that
Krenkel
once you
pasta.
name a dish after somebody, they never come back. And I was like, but
Oh.
now they come back and see it again. But I
That's
have
funny.
to put a special on for you guys. I mean, this week I'm
Gotta
gonna
think,
put the
you got to think
specials
about
on.
that one now.
So
I
tell,
gotta
so
think
tell
about
us
that
where
one.
you're at today, because that's really what
Yes,
what we
we're
wanna
we're
promote
at
and-
today is Family Tavola. It started out as Slices of Hope. I started working with partnering with three gentlemen. Two are from Ocean Township, and one lives in Wall. Ken Dad. He also has an insurance company. And Ronnie Collins, who has a tile company, iTile. So we get a lot of plugs in for people. And,
I love it.
Exactly.
That's sort of what this is all about.
Exactly.
Right?
It's all about
That's
having
part of the
people come
community.
together. It's
I
part of
love
the
it.
community. And I lived in Ocean for 15, 20 years before we moved to Shark River Hills. But Family Tavola was started as Slices of Hope.
which
during-
is right next to the Little Silver train station.
Correct,
So
right
it's
across the
great
street.
location. Netflix is coming down the road.
Yep.
But we love to go. We play tennis right down the street.
Right.
So we'll get a group of 15. When it's somebody's birthday, we get 15 plus people, and
And
obviously
I
we come
make
to
whatever you want.
You make everything.
Oh my
absolutely.
God. Can I tell you, every time we leave, so it's so crazy. We go, we play tennis, we feel good, and then we go to your place and we eat like pigs. We just eat so much. It's all delicious.
Yeah,
You can't not
we
eat
burned
it.
100 calories, but we ate like
We
close to
ate
500
1,000,
calories.
8,000,
right.
So
exactly.
the math works out. We're just
Exactly.
We're not good at math. That's
No, but it's just fun to have you, even when at Belmonte's and at 118 when you come in, it's always great. And I know you're always gonna bring out some appetizers. I know what you want,
Yeah.
and you have and I'm losing my mind.
That's all right. They'll
the usual
splice.
stuff. But you
they'll
have-
Who is Mindy? Mindy Eston always
Yes.
texts me. We're coming in, and we're coming in next this week. And you bring 15 people at 8:30. Absolutely, and she's done that for years.
Yep.
And I've done parties for them as well. So
now you have a second location.
and then
also.
we opened the second location in May. It's another Family Tavola. It is on Bridge Ave and 88. It's a little bit different than the one we have in Little Silver. Little Silver is more modern. We have subway tile. We have booths. We have modern chairs, modern lighting.
But the menu's the same.
And the menu is exactly the same. Little Silver,
So the
you get some.
atmosphere is a little bit
so
different.
The atmosphere is 100% different, but the same exact food and the same exact
Food's
cooks.
great. So it's
And because we had so many cooks, we're like, we got to figure out where we're going to put these people. And a friend of mine called me up and he goes, Eddie, my friend's really hurting with his pizzeria in Point Pleasant. And I said, all right, let me take a look at it, and negotiated with them. And they're like, yeah, we're fine. You can take it over. And what they did, unfortunately, the last 4 pizzerias that were there, what they did wrong was they didn't open the dining room. They didn't serve dinner. They only
Oh, it's
wanted
all
to serve
takeout.
pizza. They wanted to serve pizza and takeout. And there are 9 pizzerias in like a 2-mile radius.
Yeah.
So you're not going to compete with places that have been there for 30 years. It just won't happen. Then they didn't open the dining room for anything else. So my partner Bob and I, we took over the location. He likes to stay in Point Pleasant, and I'm in Little Silver, and we also own the concession at Deal Casino. So we
Oh,
do the
that's
Deal
cool. I didn't
Casino
know
in the
that.
summertime, and
How
at
many
Conover
years have you been
Pavilion.
doing that?
We did it. This was our 3rd year.
Great.
So we'll probably do 1 or 2 more years, and I'd like to get into some other of those. So I'm looking around at some of those.
Mhm.
That's a fun time. I mean, it's just like relaxing. I have
So it doesn't sound like you are slowing down one bit.
no, not at all, not at all. If
No.
anything, I'm trying to do more. It's
Yeah.
like I'm just trying to, again, trying to
Or you're
get.
in your stride, you kind
Yeah, exactly. Because I get
great.
bored after 3 or 4 years, like I said, and then I move on to something else. And with Family Tavola, I was either going to leave there and go somewhere else and start again, or I'm like, you know what? I am getting a little older. I might not want to burn the bridge too
And
much.
does the name mean anything, Family Tavola?
It was just something we made up.
There is no Tavola family.
There is no Tavola fan, which is funny because people think it's Stavola.
Well, I was just
or
going to say, are
Tavola.
you backed by the Tavola family? Because that wouldn't suck.
It's actually a funny thing because Bob and I we were trying to figure out names, and he wanted to incorporate family and people sitting around the table. So we were just like, whatever, we'll just pick up a name, and we had like 20 names, and we couldn't figure out, and then we didn't want to have all Italian something in there because it's actually Tavola. It's not really Tavola.
Oh.
But us being geniuses like we are as far as marketing, there's a place called Tavolo Pronta in Fairhaven. And so
Is it really?
yeah,
That sounds
I
familiar.
think it's one of the old Rollos, one of the Rollo brothers
Okay.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
that
it's
own
right
it.
next to the Acme, I think.
Okay, so yeah, so it's called
Dentist.
Family. It's Tavolo Pronto. So I'm like, what
Oops.
knuckleheads? I'm like, we just opened and we're
You should have done a
rebranding.
little bit more research.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I was like, what were we thinking? So I said, let's call it Tavola instead of Tavola.
That's
And then
funny.
there's the Italian people that come in. They'll say, oh, Family Tavola. And I'm like, no, it's Tavola. They're like, well, you really know it's Tavola. And then I have to go through the story again.
Right.
How much research we actually did
Yeah.
to come up with our name, which was
Oopsies.
0.
great.
But yeah, so we do catering out of there. We do weddings out of there. We're
Mm.
actually doing a wedding in Middletown in November. So
Cool.
I got called to do that. I did a wedding in Howell last year. So we do any kind of food, any kind of
Yeah.
atmosphere. We cater to people that rent a hall. We'll do things at people's houses.
Is there anything that we're missing in Monmouth County that
Well, actually, I wanted to go into our speed round because we're winding down.
Oh, speed round.
Speed
Okay,
round.
speed round. Let's
Okay.
go.
Favorite restaurant at the shore?
That's a tough one.
can't be Family Tavola or Tavola?
No, definitely not. There's a few good ones that I like for different reasons. Chef Mike's ABG, Atlantic Bar and Grill, is in Seaside.
Oh, really?
Is
Okay.
a phenomenal restaurant. Unfortunately, he's at the end of his lease,
Hmm.
and he does a lot for the community. I mean, he is one of his name's Mike,
We'll
and
try to go and
Jurassic.
support him. Everybody
Yeah,
should go.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
support him.
I think he's had some ups and downs, not with the restaurant, as personally and health wise, and this and that.
Okay.
But great location, right on the water, very accommodating. Works with he worked with the Need We Feed, and now he's working with Hometown Heroes with Cliff Baker. He gives a lot to the community, so that's one person and one restaurant I love to support.
That's
Okay.
great.
Next question.
Go ahead.
Wait, he didn't.
Oh,
Oh,
what's
he
your
had.
other-
And the
he
one
had-
in Monmouth County, I would say, it's our go-to restaurant is Rooney's, again, because we like the beach area and things like that.
Yeah.
But there's so many great restaurants I just can't get to in Monmouth County. But again, Daryl,
Daryl's
what he
such a
does,
good
He's
guy,
great.
and
With what he does,
yeah,
we got a
with
whole story
MS.
with him how he gave us a ride home on 4th of July.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
couldn't
we
get
actually
Uber
we're
for
gonna
an hour.
we're gonna try and get him on the show because he
actually-
did give us a ride home. He
Yeah, we
saved
did
us
that.
one
he's
night
one of those
He's a
one of
good
those
guy.
people too.
And then
Yeah.
the best restaurant anywhere.
in
Yeah,
the world that you've
worldwide.
ever been to.
Okay, that's a tough one. My personal, that is a tough one. Because I've been to a lot of really good
I'm
restaurants.
sure.
I would say again the one I really really enjoyed the most was the place in West Virginia because it was somewhere that you would never expect
Mhm.
a 600 bottle wine list.
Hmm.
Um,
What was the name of it?
the Red Fox.
The
I
Red
know I'm not sure if
Fox.
it's still there yet or not, but I mean, again, all the high end chefs and like Daniel's Bistro and all those other, they do a fantastic job. They don't need a plug from me. And Bobby Flay's restaurants and all those guys, they don't need a plug from me. But I mean, they have good food and there's other places, but I think as a unique experience overlooking the ski slopes, we had a teepee there if people wanted to have like a 10-person
Oh my
party.
gosh, that's so cool.
So we had a teepee that we
Wow.
sit around, and they
That's so
also.
cool.
So it's something that you're looking
Yeah,
out at the
different.
snow.
It's not just the food, like you said.
And it's
food,
not just the
atmosphere,
food,
it's
it's the
everything.
atmosphere.
It's everything, including
And-
that X factor that.
By
you
the
can't-
way, I will tell you, because you mentioned it, we did go to Daniel recently in the city for a friend's 60th birthday,
Yes.
and he happened to be there.
Oh, that's
that
great.
night.
And he came out and he was taking pictures.
Oh
with
my
us,
God.
and it was
Oh,
really-
that's great.
What
Yeah,
a
it's-
nice man.
He really is.
Yeah.
I mean the
and that's what we kind of love. We love that we go somewhere,
And-
the food's great, and then we find out that the people are great.
and
right.
that we see you and get to catch up. And, I mean,
Right.
so
Absolutely.
it's not just
No,
you're
you
a friend.
want
and
again.
that's
It's
what it's about.
it's the little bit that.
Yeah.
And,
Well, first
and
of all,
committed-
you're feeding us because
Yes.
he would starve otherwise.
Yeah.
'Cause
I know you're not cooking.
I'm not
Absolutely
cooking for
not.
him.
I've always told her we go out literally almost every night.
Yes,
for dinner,
exactly.
And I view it as a daily vacation. Like, okay, during the day, I'm like looking forward. Where are we going on vacation tonight?
That's
And it's going
that's
to a
wonderful.
restaurant.
That's the way I think too.
Yeah, it's not just the food.
I mean,
it's the
it's not
experience.
it's an experience. Like
It
that's how I
is.
always think of it. It's like you know what you're going if you're going for a meal, you want to enjoy the 3 appetizers and the 2 desserts and the bottle of wine and 4 meals for 3 people. I mean, my father-in-law once said to me, he was like, when he first met me, we went out to dinner our first night together, and we actually went back to Ferrari's. I wasn't there anymore, and the chef came out, whatever, and we're eating, and I was trying to be because they are from an Alapin and they're Jewish, so I was trying to be respectful of not ordering the bacon wrapped shrimp and this and that.
Good movie.
And then my father Alan goes, "I'll have the pork chop." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, I should have had the bacon wrapped shrimp."
That's
But I ordered. There was 4 of us, and I ordered a 5th entree. And ever since then, he's been like, "Oh, we got to get something for the table. The table needs to eat."
Right,
Of course.
exactly.
And that's what it is. But
sharing plate.
sharing plate.
course.
And
So
then,
it-
so that,
Oh, wait,
so-
was that your speed round? Because your speed round is very slow.
No, we're done.
It's me.
And on that note, we want to thank Eddie for coming.
It was
and
an
we
absolute
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
our first.
And that is the best honor I could ever ask for. You know,
Oh.
it's like people I know. I do this because I love the people. I like cooking. I like the restaurant business. The place in West Virginia, not the Red Fox, we had a restaurant that was similar, but it was like a low key barbecue place, and the owner would wear his chef's outfit all the time and call himself the restaurant guy, and he would always change with everything he did. I mean, he was making the s'mores as a dessert, and I used that. I mean, I probably stole 20 ideas from him. So,
No,
All
no,
right.
we've
Well,
known
now
you for-
you're giving him credit.
Yeah.
So
oh,
that's
I give
good.
credit to everybody.
And
That
Yeah.
we've
I
known
give
you for
credit to
30
everybody.
years, and we've learned a lot tonight. So
Yeah.
Yes.
we
So
really,
thank you for being
we
our
appreciate you
first.
coming.
Oh, it's
And
absolutely
thank you
my
for
pleasure.
feeding us for the last 30 years.
And we look forward to Vola number 3. So.
Yes, absolutely. We're on the way. We're looking for it. And if you get down the point, you will have a different experience because that's white tablecloth and black napkins, and
Awesome.
there's bananas Foster over there.
Ooh.
There's a cheese wheel of
Sold.
death. Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Where are we
What time
going
is it?
tonight?
I need a vacation place for tonight.
Yeah, right.
But that's a totally different, as you know, our restaurant in Little Silver. You walk in and it's modern. Down there, they have a old school pizzeria with 5 tables. You walk to the right, it's like you're transformed into a different world.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, low lighting. You got tablecloths. You got everything.
We're definitely going to
different.
try it.
All right.
So.
Well, thanks
All
again.
right.
My
yes,
pleasure. Good
Thanks,
luck with
Eddie.
everything.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.